welcome to our YouTube channel again. Just wanted to ask you a favor. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, give us thumbs up, and share this link with other people. As many comments as we can receive from you will allow us to prepare good content for you. So we're very happy to be able to share information that we believe that are informative, that will allow you to make good decisions. We stand very much in our continent, Africa, and we want to see Africa rise again. And everybody in the diaspora, wherever you may be around the world following this channel, we are here to serve you. We are here to give you information. So today what I want to share with you is basically what is happening in Niger. We understand that obviously the current general who is in charge of the country, we understand that he has given a statement just to make it clear that the country's position against all the sanctions from the ECOWAS the country is really appalled by this decision to bring about sanctions. What is happening here is that the general made it very clear. He said that they are prepared to go to any negotiations that would allow the country to talk and discuss of matters that are in the interest of the people. But he would not accept that the country will be jeopardized by a few people who obviously have self-interest, who are looking only to be able to serve the interests of those who are outside of the country. Now we can understand with this country of this size, 20 million people. Now if they have stopped all the imports that comes into the country, there is no electricity, there is no medicine, there is no food, and all of that, that does not serve the people, because all we can understand is out of this will only emerge the anger of the people that will be rekindled not only towards the army or the general, but as they understand or perceive, they know that France and other Western powers are behind what is happening in ECOWAS, because they know who's pulling the strings. And what we need to understand here at this stage is this. I'm always asking myself, why is it when we get to a stage like this, you wonder, saying, all these African leaders, have we not reached maturity? Do we not understand that what is at stake here? If today Niger is attacked, you need to understand that obviously all the following, those who will die, those who will pay a heavy price are the civilians. And you don't want to see the country disintegrate and to descend into the abyss again. Given what's happened in country like Iraq, given what's happened in Libya, and all so on and so forth, we don't want to see a repeat of these things in our continent. And all we want to see is that these people will come together. It is one thing, yes, I know that people don't like it. They may say that, this is a coup, and, it's not democratic, and we have to bring things back to what it's supposed to be. I agree with all of that. But what I don't also agree with is the fact that obviously, yes, a few countries in the West can decide, okay, we don't like this. Now you talk about democracy. What is happening in the US? What is happening in America or in France? I mean, do Africans ever stand up to say, oh, look, we want to impose sanctions on the US because this is the way that they have treated people there, or we don't like what is happening in France and therefore we want to impose such and such sanctions? I don't see that ever happening. I mean, we respect what happens overseas. We respect what happens in these countries. In fact, they impose, they tell us, we want you to be a democratic countries, but do they themselves really follow to the T, to the letter, what they are expecting others to do? I don't think so. It doesn't always happen that way. They can get away with so many of the things that they do because somehow they believe that the law gives them power to do those things. And they have a way of maneuvering to getting their way by obviously using the law itself in order to camouflage or at least to hide the crimes that they commit against humanity or protesters. Those who are, much of people's liberty and freedom in the Western world is being taken taken away. I don't see that as being democratic when people can go and vote on this and vote on that, and then without even people being aware of what is happening. That is not democratic. That's not a democracy. But what we see in Africa is that if you are not for them, if you are not obeying to their bent, to their rules, to whatever it is they're asking you to do, as soon as you do something that they perceive to be not democratic, then what do? They step up the plate, and then they will just basically want to crucify you. They'll say all kind of things so that you are hated by other nations. They'll make it look like as though you are killing and you are destroying your own people, and they do all kind of things. We know what the mainstream media is like. We know and we understand that, you know, what they have in their minds and heart is not for the people, but it's always to get their own ways. And we have to understand, we need to get to that stage where we realize that what is happening is not so much because they care about the Africans. It's not so much because they care about Nigerians. It's not because they care what is happening in Niger. No, it's because they want to leverage. They want to make sure that they get their position within that country, that they don't lose the interest and all other things that they already have coming forth from that country. But I think what the general just said, it's a good thing that people should go into dialogue. They need to talk. They need to discuss matters for the interest of the people. Now, if they want to run for elections or they want to set up a date when they're going to have this, it's all good. There is, you know, but we can't just be there just to serve and to be giving into the demands of other people who have no interest at all for the people of that country. I mean, we don't want wars in Africa. We don't want this kind of coup, obviously, going out of control, i.e. in different other countries. No, that's not what we want. We want things to a democratic process to take place, you know, as normal. But you also know how many of these African leaders, you know, the way they behave, they'll change, you know, the constitution. If they're running for one term, they go to the second one, the third one. Basically, they want to remain in power. And in doing so, even if they go against the law itself, I mean, who's there? Because it's all about strong men in Africa, and that's not right. And now, if this military system is put in place in order to redress all these things and to put things right, you know, it's just a matter of talking and then discussing and agreeing that this is the way forward and getting things for. What I'm saying here, it's we must put the interests of the people before anything else. Not the interests of France, not the interests of the US, not the interests of any other countries. Because many of the leaders that in ECOWAS, many of them have strings being pulled by all these Western countries, because from they get the support from this country and that country, then they want to come forward and say, look, we're going to stand, we're going to fight, we're going to bring this government down. I mean, that's not the way it works. We need to think about the people first. We need to put the people first and make sure that whatever we're doing is actually to lift up this country in Africa. We want to make sure that, you know, our countries are accountable to the people, not to the powers or external powers that give them the armaments that they need, that influence things in the country so that they can stay in power forever. That's not what we want. Just wanted to let you know that the general is ready to sit down so they can have a conversation so that they can bring this to a peaceful end. But they will not surrender if they're going to do things by force. And the sanctions that are placed, it's no good, because only the people are going to suffer. So let's make sure that, you know, all things work out for the good of the people of Niger. So please, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe and pass on your comments, and we'll bring you the content that we believe will be good for you. So thank you very much for staying with us. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.